20,500. 20,500.
Me no know what foot to put first. Audio that. Oh yeah.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Connecting the Dots. I'm your hostess, Sandra Izsadore, and I'm here today with one of my favorite co-hosts, Natalie Beasnael from We Are Not the Same, my girlfriend from Chad. And today, I want to talk about all the lies that were taught to me as a child. And as I've grown up and to become this woman that I am today, I realize I'm not the only one that was lied to. So today, Natalie and I are going to unpack the historical lies because I want to know what kind of lies did she receive over there in Chad, because I'm going to share the lies that were told to me in school and in church, you know, just all the lies and the hype that we've been programmed for. Natalie,
yes.
Hi, girl.
Hello. Well, here we are again.
I know, honey, and we got this tea. We need to.
Okay.
We need to dish and drink this tea today.
I want stevia sweetener in mine.
Oh, okay. You want some stevia with yours?
Yeah, and a nice little cookie.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be cool because I've had my sugar quota of the day. So, Natalie,
yes.
Tell me. You know, I grew up and, you know, I became angry as a teenager when I found out that I had been taught a lot of lies.
You know, thank you for having me once again as your co-host on the show, Connecting the Dots. This is why we're here.
Right.
Now, you know, what kind of lies were you told as a teenager? Because I know that mine, the easiest that I remember was you had to know math to become a doctor.
Okay.
So let's start there, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, basically, let's start with my 6-year-old awareness. At 6 years old, being, you know, shown a picture of Jesus. And
yes.
he was white,
yes.
He had blue eyes, and he had this long blonde hair.
Right.
Santa Claus,
yes.
you know, I was told all about, you know, jolly old Nick. And then at that time when I was growing up, all the Disney characters. All the Disney characters, Fairy Godmother, yes. Snow White,
Cinderella.
Cinderella, all of them, and that was the image that was presented to me. And then when I did see people that looked like me, they were either servants in the kitchen, they were working as stable hands, but I never saw a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer. I didn't see any image like that. So as a young girl, my esteem was very low.
Yes.
You know?
I can totally relate to that because my self-esteem wasn't always there. You know, I think I just recently gained it and didn't even know that I could do so much. Once you have self-esteem, nothing can stop you, right? But I believe, you know, the lies that you were told are very, very similar to mine. And especially growing up in Africa. I grew up in West Africa. Mind you, I grew up in a household that was quote unquote well off. But yet the dolls that I got were, you know, dolls that did not look like me. They had pale skin. And I wanted those dolls, but it never dawned on me till later on in life that why did I get those? Nobody made dolls that looked like me. What is going on here? So I never realized. I remember at one point I asked for a doll and they made the stick dolls when we went to the village for us. And I thought, I don't want that one. I want the white doll.
Yeah, well.
You know? But, I mean, if we fast forward today, the lies that we're told as youngsters. I honestly can probably jump into saying that that's because our forefathers or our families somehow settled in discouragement without knowing that that's what they were doing. You know, it's easy to get discouraged and to give up and to say, well, that's the way they do it, so let's leave it up to them. And it's a lot of work to fight, you know, well, to fight an idea or to challenge an idea, you know. Why is it that there weren't dolls that were my color when they were already making dolls? So whoever was making those dolls, is this the doll that represents me as a young black child? And what is the image of in some of the character books? I remember we read Les Aventures de Tintin, The Adventures of Tintin. And I would always see black people, you know, with these big pink lips, and they were so dark. It was a color of black that I wouldn't even put it on, you know, on anything nice.
Everything that was derogatory.
Yes.
This is what they did to really destroy us psychologically. And I know that happened here in America, but see, I didn't quite think this happened in Africa.
It did.
And what I have also found that, well, from my point of view, that what colonialism has done in Africa is far worse than slavery. Now, images is just one.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
The other thing with the religion, and then the lack thereof of our scientific, our inventors, you know, our doctors, all of this was negated from the books.
Absolutely.
And you know, in our story, which is his story.
I love it.
In our story, they never taught us anything about us, you know, and the only way that I found out about us was because I was seeking truth. And then I have discovered that a lot of people don't want to deal with the truth.
They don't want to deal with the truth. There's, it's actually a funny story, a joke really. There's a young kid who asked both parents, the dad and the mom, where did we come from? And the dad says, you know, everybody came from monkeys, and, you know, this is how they evolved. And she goes about to asking her mother, how do we come about? And the mom is like, oh, well, you know, they're well, you know, mom gives birth and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and then you have a human being, right? So the child goes, but mom, you know, when I asked you this question, you gave me, you know, a different answer. And dad says, you know, everybody, you know, blah, 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 it came from monkeys or whatever. And she said, yeah, because I told you about my side of the family. Your dad told you about his side of the family, you know? So that's a classic example of how misconception, right, is accepted in cultures. If anything, growing up, never in my wildest dreams did I think I could get into medicine. Fast forward today, I would have loved to become a surgeon. I didn't know. I was always intrigued, even when we were cutting up frogs, dissecting frogs, not cutting them up. And I was very strong at biology and chemistry, but I was very, very poor at math. And I remember my dad would say, well, you don't know math. How could you do medicine? Yet, he encouraged maybe about 5 kids who grew up, who were the same age as I am, who are now doctors, you know. So, you know, we talk about that, and he jokes about, well, that's how things were, I'm sorry, you know. And I love that my parents are very open-minded.
Right.
But some of the lies, let's say this, I mean, we never had a picture of white Jesus in our house.
Well, you were blessed.
I am so grateful for that, because now I understand it.
Right.
But we did have white dolls, honey. We had white dolls.
Well, see, I'm going to tell you, I had the jackpot.
You had the...
Yeah, I had the white Jesus, the white doll. I had all of the Disney characters.
Oh, my goodness.
So I didn't really have anything... plus, we lived in a white community. So I didn't have anything of confidence. I did not have it. And then my parents did not have the discussion of racial inequality. They never talked
They
about
never
it.
talked about it.
They never
Yes.
talked about it.
Yeah.
And I'm a baby boomer, but my parents were known as the secret society.
Yes.
And my elders kept a lot of secrets, things that would cause hurt and pain. They did not want us to know.
yes.
You know, but in hurt and pain is also the truth. That's where the truth lies. So they kept that truth. Well, let's call it this, the ugly truth.
The ugly truth. Yeah, I can relate to that. We just had that conversation with a friend of mine. Preservation of the truth and this closure of the truth doesn't mean you're going to damage somebody.
Right.
Literally, I had that conversation, I think, yesterday with a friend, and he was saying something about how some of us are late bloomers even in our 40s and 50s,
Right.
or even our 30s.
And some never bloom.
Some,
Just like flowers. You know how some flowers
Some
never
bloom.
open? Yes. Well,
some never bloom.
Right.
You know, that's actually the ugly truth. So
Right.
you grow up thinking, okay, this is a lie. I will say this in the African culture. Not because someone is much older than you. You just have to show respect, but you do not have to give up every right that you have
Right.
because that older person said do this or do that.
Right.
Because they're living in their own form of discouragement,
Right.
their own form of perceived lies that they got.
Right.
So I'm willing to challenge that and say, but that doesn't apply
Right.
to us moving forward and making Africa a better world.
Well, you know, that's like coming back with the lies.
Yes.
And unpacking those lies.
Yes.
That's like with me and my cousin Muffy.
Oh, yeah.
My cousin Muffy must be about 97 years of age. And, you know, some of the things that she taught me, they came from the heart. But then I've had to unpack those teachings.
Yes.
And I'm taking it back to her.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, when I bring her these truths, she's like, oh, I can't take that. I can't take it.
I know.
I don't want to hear it. I mean, it's like too damaging for her.
For her, yes. No. And you know, on one hand, you want to say it makes sense, but on the other hand, you're really sad. You know, I get sad when I talk to some of my family members and I think, wow, if this is how the mindset is, then what is? And these are people who are considered a little bit more educated.
Right. Oh.
So now that leads you into another realm because you have all these diplomas and all these accolades, but this is how you think? I'm sad.
But you know
You
what?
know?
See, that's the thing. My mama always taught. I think my mother did an excellent job. But one of the things that my mother told me, and she says, you have to be aware of the educated fool. No, it's true.
I agree with that.
And
Yes.
I'm just piggybacking on what you just said.
Yes.
Just saying it a different way, but
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
you said, we are not the same, but
We are.
we agree upon plenty.
Yes, Beasnael, we are not the same. I stand on that last name. Now it means so much more to me because we're the only Beasnaels in Chad and from the tribe of the Ngambais.
Right.
And Be means a state of being, as is, you know, to be. Nail is a negation. So your mom, you know, is absolutely right. An educated fool is more dangerous
Oh.
than someone who's considered a
Okay,
fool.
now, look, you know, just talking about the educated fool, look at what's happening in our world today.
Yes.
Look at all the people in power,
Yes.
the ones that are in power,
Yeah.
the ones that are the lawyers, the ones that are the doctors,
yes.
the ones that are the scientists.
Yes.
And look at the state of our world today.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to our early childhood years.
Yes.
You know, they taught us to be a form of programming. I want everybody to line up on this line right here.
Exactly.
You stop right, when you get here to one, you stop there and line up. I want a straight line.
Yeah.
We have been taught
Yes.
how to think. Our government has done this to us, and not just here in America, but governments around the world.
Around the world, yes.
And that's why I say, look at what's happening today. First of all, I have never seen a situation where there's so much fear.
I know.
Mainstream television, which, you know, they have programmers. And the programmers, they decide what story they're going to tell.
Yes. And that's all.
And sensationalism,
Yes.
negative news,
Yes.
travels a lot faster for some reason
Yeah.
than positive.
Than positive. Well, anything negative, but when you have negative plus positive is what you get positive, right? If you really look at the science of, you know, math and all of anything that's scientific, if I can say it correctly, you have to have the negative. You have to have the positive.
Yes,
Positive
you do.
and positive just don't work, and negative don't work. from
Right,
what
but
we've
it
seen.
can balance though.
You have to have a balance.
Right.
That's exactly where I'm headed. And how do we balance it and how do we receive it? Because if you're able to receive negativity or negative correctly, and if you're balanced enough to have positive and positivity, then you'll be okay, right?
Yes.
But if one is more, one is less, that's when the imbalance happens. And
I would think that's where discernment.
discernment, you have to activate your gift of discernment.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, I say, you know, I depend on my spiritual connection.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's my spiritual connection that's the voice that I listen to.
Absolutely.
And so like I said, what's going on in the world right now, it's scary, it's fearful. And a lot of people are living in fear. And because they are so afraid,
Right.
they will do whatever the powers that be tell them to do. And sometimes
Yeah.
it seems as though what the powers are telling them to do
Yes.
is not that great. And it's not that good. Case in point,
Yes.
County of Los Angeles.
Oh.
At one point, all county employees, I would say a good 20 years ago or more, could have been more, they had what you call, well, let's put it like this. Before, I would say 1984,
Okay.
the County of Los Angeles employees, when they were hired in and they all received a retirement plan and health
wow.
benefits. And it was called Plan A.
Oh, wow.
Plan A was so good and handled so well that by the time that employee reached retirement age,
Yes.
they were making just as much money
Okay. Okay.
being unemployed
Yes.
as they did while they were employed.
Okay.
And the County of Los Angeles came to these people and said, you know what? You can cash this out now.
Oh.
You can cash all of this. We can still give you another plan.
Right.
We can rewrite your plan, but this one is going to be better for you.
Interesting. Huh.
And you know what? A lot of employees bailed out of that plan.
Okay.
I would say 95% of the employees bailed out. They cashed in. But the powers that be, that's what they wanted them to do.
I was just going to ask you, wasn't that a strategic plan?
It was very strategic that those people that bailed out of that plan shot themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
Okay, another case in point was when they had the civil disturbance with Rodney King.
Right.
They said, I don't know if it was because of the blackouts, whatever, but a lot of people lost food. The County of Los Angeles said anyone that lost food or, during this period,
Yes.
we are going to give you X amount of food stamps so you can go and replenish and replace. A lot of the county employees,
Yes.
they, even though they were working,
Right.
but they had losses too, or they had loved ones that had lost. And what they did they made, they applied and the money and the food stamps or whatever was given to them.
Wow.
Then later on, all those people that received that money, they got fired.
And well.
No, I'm just saying.
Yes.
This is the type of deception.
Wow.
So I'm bringing all of this forward to get to this point, and this point in particular, about the vaccines.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if a lot of people are aware that there is a court case pending as we speak, suing the WHO,
Yes.
the CDC, and the NIH.
Wow.
And this lawsuit is, they're quoting the Nuremberg Law 2.0, Crimes Against Humanity. So, once again, with these lies in today's world.
I mean, there's so many. There's so many. Have they changed? I'm afraid no. It seems like it keeps going on and on. You just mentioned, I mean, we went back to Rodney King, but also way back to when, then again, some of the lies that were previously made in terms of, just even some of the elections that we've had. I know that, growing up, well, I grew up partially in Ghana, and even when we would fly back and forth to Europe, it was interesting the way you'd be treated because you came from a certain country in Africa. Now, the education that we had, I'll never forget when we were leaving the private school. My dad told the director of the school, which here would be the principal, and it's a private French school where a lot of well-off kids went to. My dad said, "We're going to America." And the guy said, "You? I don't know. I would expect someone from Lebanon or someone who's, this or that to go, but you're from Chad." And my dad laughed. That's all he did. And of course, I don't know where that principal is, but I know that the lie that he told himself about African countries, yet he was excelling in an African country. I know that the job and the accolades that he got when he was in Ghana were not because he was probably, a teacher that was getting probably a very meek salary when he lived in France. But when he came to Africa, he had
he was creme de la creme.
Creme de la creme, for real. And here we are in terms of, the vaccine and I will say maybe some of the other things that are attached to it and the lies that are being told in our community, but also in their community. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because at the end of the day, coming from a nurse's point of view, people are dying every second. So,
we're not saying that it's not real.
No. Yeah,
and then you also might tag on that this is a man-made.
Exactly.
This was a man-made virus.
So what breaks my heart is that it's man-made here yet again by educated fools, I will say this, and the multitude that is educated has more fear than these people who created all this chaos that we're in.
Well, so that's another thing, because you just touched upon something. You say, the powers that be that created the chaos.
Yeah.
But see, and this is where I like to go back to the scriptures and the prophecy, whether you want to believe it or not. These things have been predicted. They've been predicted. And for those that have ears, let them hear. And those that have eyes, let them see. This is true. What are you the type of person that says, well, my eyes are lying to me? Or my ears are lying to me?
Yeah, or my experiences.
Your own personal experiences lying to you. So, I mean, what does it take to wake someone up? Why is it that I can see through the lies? Or, you might have two people in the room listening to one person speak, and there's 3 or 4 different interpretations of what that person said.
That's human nature, positive and negative.
Yeah, we're right back there again.
We're right back at that. I think what we're doing, connecting the dots
Right.
on a daily basis,
Right.
talking, sharing. I think in French they say les tonneaux vides font beaucoup de bruit. Empty barrels make a lot of noise. Right.
Right. Right.
But the thing about that is that if people are ready to receive, they will be quiet and listen to knowledge, the right kind of knowledge. Your
Right.
discernment will kick in, and you'll know what's right and what's wrong.
But see, even if you are question what someone is saying, sometimes the things that you're hearing is so horrific.
Yes.
Most people, that can never happen. My government wouldn't do that, and blah, blah, blah. But you know what?
Why? Yes.
All you have to do is research.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, it's right there.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll tell you where, and I know this to be true,
Yes.
because I've told people, I've given them information.
Yes.
And I've told them, okay, you can find this here.
Yeah.
You can find this
It's not
there.
a lie. It's a proven fact.
And I mean, and it's statistically dated,
Yeah.
so you can see for yourself and verify. But then they want to argue with me. And one guy told me, I want you to convince me. I said, I'm tired of trying to teach the
You're not
deaf
convinced.
and the blind.
No, yeah.
Either
Yeah.
you're going to get it.
Yes.
One thing, I never argued with my teacher. I only listened.
Listened, yes.
I listened, and things that tweaked or piqued my interest, I would go, let me go look and research this.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's one thing that I can say about my husband. See, me, I'm from the school, if the mind can conceive it, if someone can think something else up,
Yes.
trust me, it's happening.
It's
somewhere.
happening. Yeah, that's my motto. I think I finally had an epiphany and realized that anything is possible. We're all the same, right?
Right.
Even though my last name says we're not the same.
Right.
But once you wake up to that, then you start appreciating everybody as they are. You
Thank
start
you.
meeting them at their level. And the ones that want you to convince them, no, that's not my job to convince you. I will say what I have to say. You go research if you can. If you have that common sense, which is not common, right?
Right,
To
right.
go out there and look for the truth, then fine. But if you're willing to sit and meddle in your discouragement and your lies, then so be it.
Another thing that a lot of people have failed to realize, and they should come to realize it sooner rather than later, all the answers are within you.
Yeah, we're equipped.
You know what?
Yes.
I remember as a child, being taught, listen to the voice inside of you.
Yes.
I'm telling you, there's a voice. I don't know about everybody else, but I got a voice that speaks to me that'll tell me, do this,
Yeah, that's huge.
don't do that.
Yes.
I pay attention.
No,
I pay attention.
absolutely.
Some people may call it discernment, but I have an open, I hear. When people, I don't care how ridiculous something may sound.
Right.
I don't argue with that person that tell them, oh, you stupid, that's ridiculous. I listen to what they have to say. And then I see what is being said.
Absolutely.
Because here's another thing, and it's so true. It's right there in your face. Even in the worst of lies, there has to be some truth. You have to figure out that truth for yourself.
Yeah. No, that's well said, Mama Sandra. And I think even in the worst of lies, there's the actual truth. But preservation of that truth is what I think most of us don't understand. So once the truth is being carried out, it gets dissolved, easily dissolved and
Twisted.
And
Yeah, and because, even during slavery days, they used the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
They used the Bible to
Yes.
oppress,
Yeah.
the Africans.
Isn't that?
No, they
It's,
literally used the Bible.
Yes.
And I think it was Minister Desmond Tutu.
Desmond Tutu.
Who
Yes,
he
yes,
said
yes.
they gave us the Bible and told us to bow our heads and pray.
Yes.
And while
The Bible,
our heads were bowed and we had the
yes,
Bible,
they
they
were.
were taking the land.
Yes.
And to this day it's still happening.
No, they were dangling a carrot, and they got what they wanted.
Now, just recently, so with these lies, we have where we are today in today's world.
Yes.
And today's world is somewhat chaotic.
Yes.
And especially what I see going on in Africa, but there's some mothers that are fleeing for their lives. There's some mothers crying because their children have been stolen and taken from them.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I mean, it's an ugly situation.
No, Mother's Day is a day of, I think, reverence to a lot of things. A woman, I always joke and say, an army of men is powerful, but oh boy, an army of sisters, or an army of women, it's a one-stop shop.
But here's the other thing about that. Women, because of the lies and the misinterpretation, once again, if you go back scripturally, the misinterpretation of the book has suppressed the woman. But, all the real warriors that I know are women.
Isn't that something?
No, it's usually the women that make the changes.
Even in the Bible, the top 5 women who were really powerful, even down to the ones who were negative.
Right.
You saw that there was so much power, but because of one woman, someone can fall. Samson and Delilah. Then you've got Mary. Then you've got Ruth, Ruth ended up owning the land when she was just, looking for food. She met Boaz that way. So think about, the story and the power of a woman being a barrier breaker. I think, for me personally, today is very important because Father's Day is good. But Mother's Day, right now, in the times that we're in, it's the worst day for a lot of women. Some can't even feed their children. Forget, the ones.
Can you imagine that pain?
Oh, it breaks my heart.
That particular pain.
Nothing like a mother's, pain of not being able to give her child.
Or to lose
Or to lose. And so that's the part of the lies that we've been through or that we keep getting told. But mark my words, with connecting the dots, with sharing. Sharing is caring, they say.
Right, it is.
With having a talking drum that's the loudest.
Right.
I know that the truth prevails and that there will be a change. There's some changes happening. We're sitting here talking, you know. Thank God, Yes.
Because, I remember a time as a child not having that connection with Africa. I mean, white America had the connection with Europe.
Yes, they
but
did.
The African Americans, we didn't have that connection with Africa, and Africans. It was very few Africans that were coming to America. Thank God through this. Now, this is the one part of globalization that I like. And that part of globalization is to be able to connect. To connect, to find out what is it that we have in common? What is it that we have alike? And you know what I found that we all have in common?
What is it?
We all want peace. We all want to be able to go to sleep.
Yes.
And we all want to enjoy.
Yes.
We all want water. And we
all love chocolate.
But I'm just saying globally, my rainbow brothers and sisters, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Indians, the Pakistanis, you name it, we are, what is it? A rainbow coalition of people. I'm quoting Jesse Jackson on that. But we should come together on that which we have in common.
Absolutely.
And stop looking for the lies and the differences. It's the lies that separates us.
The lies that separates us attached to the fear. The fear of the unknown. The fear, or are you going to be better than me, And it's a selfish way of thinking, but I believe that it's been encouraged because it's, who doesn't like a little bit of
No, because, you know, a lot of people, you also have to understand that in order to make myself shine, this is how they think. I don't think like this. But in order for me to shine, I have to put you down.
Yes. And it's
but
so
you know,
sad.
it's that, and I've seen it, amongst women.
Yes, crabs in a bucket too, you know, mentality, right?
You know, and it's shameful, you know, but but I came from the school of there's plenty of room at the top.
It's actually lonely from what I heard at the top. I'm not at the top yet.
No, but I'm saying there's plenty of room.
There's plenty of room, yeah.
You just keep going to the top. But see, some people want to be right in the door. No, go to the top. You always find a lot of room and space.
Exactly. That's why they say it's lonely, because there are not enough people at the top.
Right. Because they're not trying to. It's almost like, you know, you're not climbing. And when you reach up, just when you reach up like this, you're supposed to turn around
and grab.
So, you know, this is how we build. You know, you know, you continue, and we do
anything. Even if you're climbing, you have to, you know, so no, I'm with you on that. I'm sad that the lies still prevail even in our modern society.
Well, the lies that are prevailing today, when I look at Africa, because, you know, I put that post up because I saw some of the children being freed.
Yes.
But it was gunfire, and they were running from bullets, and bullets don't have names on them. And look at what just happened in New York.
Yes. No, gunfire, famine, to me, I place them all in the same bucket, because if people were accepting of who they are, I think all these things would all be, you know, gone, you know. And from my point of view, and from where I sit, Natalie, there should not be hunger in this world. You know, when I think about the amount of food that America is throwing away. And then when I see children starving in other places, that's painful to me. Yes, children, pregnant women, you know, having to, I mean, you know, just the list goes on and on. But because of one lie, usually it's not many lies. It's one lie that just kind of, you know, grows its own.
It grows. It's on its own.
Yeah, and destroys everything good. But where do we go from here? You know?
Well, we keep, you know what? We keep doing what you and I are doing. Connecting those dots, communicating, talking about it. And those things that we are in agreement with, we build upon, because the basic things we all want. We all want the same thing.
Everybody. And we all have 24 hours in a day.
Right.
Everybody needs food, sleep, you know, and
shelter.
Air.
Right. And everybody wants to live a good life. But
all
you know, what people have to understand too is, don't look at the lies from the television and the music and you see all the glamour and glitz.
No.
Look at where you are.
Exactly.
Build where you are. Make where you are the best that you can make it.
Exactly. A snapshot is not a full movie. And
Thank you.
Take your time, watch the whole movie, and create your own, you know, assumption.
And you know what, just mentioning movie.
Yes.
My friend.
Oh.
He's on Netflix right now. The title of his film is Seven.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's his first film.
Nice.
He's one of maybe 4 or 5 executive producers.
Nice.
So it's a new venture for him. So, you know, I want to celebrate him in that film, Seven. Anyone that have Netflix, check it out.
Let's watch it. Netflix, Seven on Netflix.
Yes.
I'm excited.
I thought it was, you know, a pretty good film. It started out slow, but I love the story itself.
The story, okay.
Yeah, the storyline. And then, you know, at the same time, I want to give kudos to Nigeria. They're growing up. Nollywood is growing up, you know, just like Bollywood. You know, they have their film.
I love Bollywood.
Yes, and, you know, with Nollywood, one of the things I remember they always had really good storylines.
I used to get so taken by the stories. I would actually think, you know, I would be transported. The
stories are good. The only thing that I found where they've improved.
Yes.
But I remember back in the day, the sound, the lighting.
Oh, yes.
That was an issue. But they've grown up and they're making some really good films now.
No, we have to celebrate that. Actually, that's very profound and very powerful, because without, I guess, slavery, if I can loosely say this, without Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, we would not be able to sit here and talk about Nollywood, even Bollywood,
right?
You know?
Well, I would say the African American has been a groundbreaker.
Yes,
We've cracked the ceiling, but we're not there yet.
Not yet.
No, but we did get to the White House.
Yes.
We did get to, which I would like to call the People's House.
The
And then I after that I went from the White House, and then I called it the Crack House. Because I started to see.
Yes.
I started to see the manipulation. It took me a while,
right,
before I got here. But now, after arriving and seeing, that's why I called it the Crack House. And you know what? What I'm seeing today is like, I don't know. It's very scary to me. It's frightening to me to some degree.
It is frightening.
But once again, I maneuver from that inner spiritual side of me, and I just continue to live and create.
Absolutely.
And I help where I can. Some things make me feel really good.
Yeah. No. I want to go back to the Nollywood subject.
Okay.
I've noticed that most of the Nollywood actors and actresses come here to get ideas or to shop and go back, and they live their lives in the country, in Nigeria.
Right.
And that was something that was very impressive to me, because I always thought, in my own personal life, that you had to live here, create something, make the money, and then go back home. It's complete opposite. People back in Africa have more money than...
Oh, excuse me, girl.
I know, right?
Wait a minute. To be honest, I live a much better life.
My parents.
I live a much better life in Africa than I do here in America. The only thing that I want to say about Africa, because I was not indigenous to the land, I don't know how to maneuver.
Yes.
I don't know how to maneuver. See, I can maneuver here in America because I was born here. I know how the system works.
Yes.
But when I go to Africa, it's different.
It's very different.
It's different. It's a different language.
Yes.
Although it's English, the comprehension is a little different.
More colloquialism too.
And I know this just from my own marriage, because my husband and I, he was brought up born in the Caribbean.
Yes.
And he's Jamaican. And sometimes when we're communicating, we're saying the same thing, but it's like this.
Yes. No.
And we have to have clarity.
Yes. Absolutely. A lot of communication. No, but that happens in Africa, within Africa.
Yes.
So it's really interesting. But I've learned to really appreciate and actually learn, from a lot of, I will say the celebrities, but the people back home, especially in Nollywood, that would come and shop and, go right back. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is beautiful.
But let me tell you, if I had Natalie, I'm telling you, I loved living in Africa.
Yes.
It's like, people are smiling, and I don't care what their situation is.
Yes.
But I have to speak about Aragons now.
Hello, Aragons.
Yes, So and Ash Haman.
And Ash Haman.
Yeah, this is my and Dakoria Konde. That's,
hello, Dakori.
Yeah,
we don't name drop here.
Yeah. No, but that's my fam.
But that's your family. I just have to joke about that.
But today, we were, having a discussion, and, I had posted this film. We were having a discussion.
Yes.
And usually when I talk to him, it's so beautiful because I can hear the children's laughter.
Yes. yes.
You hear the children,
Yeah.
and then not only do you hear the children, you know, it's life and people living.
You could even sometimes hear the rooster.
The rooster's crowing. So today,
Yes.
that was what, you know, my discussion was about. I said, I don't hear the rooster. What's going on? He says, oh, he's probably hungry.
It's
You know, I said, really?
Interesting.
He said, yeah, he's probably hungry.
Yeah.
He says, I said, well, is it somebody's chicken, or you know, are these somebody's chicken? He says, no, they're free. They're on the hustle, just like us.
That's, oh my goodness, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he said the chicken was out there hustling. They got to hustle to get it something to eat.
I love it. Yes. No,
But
I
you
agree
know,
with
they're
you.
free and they're hustlers in the street.
I agree with you because my parents are more content when they're in Africa and they live well.
Yeah.
You know, they're happier.
Well, you know what? That's just like Dakori when she
Yes.
came here. I'm telling her business.
Yeah.
Her lifestyle here.
Yes.
I mean, even though it's a great lifestyle, even when
Yes.
she comes here to America, but it's not as great as the life in Africa.
Not
You
at
know?
all, not at all. So
No.
so that's another lie that among us Africans, because you have some Africans that do come and decide to make America home and forget that you can go and build and go do the, you know, back and forth, you know. It's good to go home. And come back.
Yes.
Yes.
And on that note, I'm going to thank you once again. You know, it's always great talking to you on Connecting the Dots. Thank you. Oh, and if you like our discussion, if you want to get in on our discussion, leave us a comment.
Yes.
You know, subscribe and like.
Yes.
And see you next time.
Happy
Thank
Mother's Day.
you. Yes.